The moment you decide to listen to your thoughts, your life begins to change. Not because the world becomes kinder overnight, but because you finally realize that the loudest voice shaping your future is the one inside your mind. This is a story about that voice and how learning to guide it can turn ordinary days into powerful turning points. There was a time when Adam woke up every morning with a heavy heart. Nothing terrible had happened, yet everything felt wrong. The sun rose, people laughed, work continued, but inside him there was a quiet darkness. He believed life was against him. When something went wrong, he said, "This always happens to me." When something good appeared, he thought, "It won't last." His thoughts were not loud, but they were constant, like slow drops of water carving doubt into his confidence. Adam did not know that his mind had become his prison. He thought he was being realistic, but in truth, he was training himself to expect failure. Every small mistake felt like proof that he was not good enough. Every delay felt like rejection. Slowly, without realizing it, he stopped trying with full heart. His energy faded, his dreams became quiet, and his smile felt borrowed. One evening, after a long and tiring day, Adam sat alone in his room. The city lights outside his window looked distant, like another life he could not reach. In that silence, a simple thought appeared. What if the problem is not my life, but the way I see it? This thought did not change everything at once, but it opened a small door. For the first time, he questioned his own thinking instead of blaming the world. The next morning, Adam decided to experiment, not with the world, but with his mind. When a negative thought appeared, he did not fight it, he simply noticed it. When his mind said, "You will fail," he answered calmly, "Maybe, but I will try." When fear whispered, "You are weak," he replied, "I am learning." These were not magical words, but they carried a different energy. They did not deny reality, but they softened it. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Positive thinking did not feel natural to him. His mind was used to worry and control through fear. But Adam stayed patient. He understood that the mind is like a muscle. If trained with stress, it becomes tense. If trained with hope, it becomes strong. Each day he chose to speak to himself with a little more kindness. Slowly, something shifted. Problems did not disappear, but Adam's reaction changed. When things went wrong, he stopped asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "What can this teach me?" This simple change gave him power. He felt less angry, less helpless. His emotions no longer controlled him completely. He learned to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to listen before judging. This was the beginning of emotional intelligence. One day, Adam failed at something important. In the past, this would have broken him. But now, he allowed himself to feel disappointed without drowning in it. He said to himself, "This hurts and that is okay, but this is not the end of my story." That moment was powerful, not because he succeeded, but because he did not give up on himself. Positive thinking did not mean pretending everything was fine. It meant trusting himself even when things were not. As weeks passed, people around Adam noticed a change. He walked differently. He spoke with calm confidence. He listened more and complained less. Opportunities began to appear, not because luck changed, but because Adam's attitude did. He saw possibilities where he once saw walls. He took action instead of waiting for perfect conditions. His thoughts guided his behavior, and his behavior slowly shaped his life. Adam learned an important truth. You cannot control every event, but you can control your response. Positive thinking is not about ignoring pain. It is about choosing growth over bitterness. It is about training the mind to look for strength instead of weakness, solutions instead of excuses. When the mind changes, emotions follow. When emotions become balanced, decisions become wiser. There were still hard days, days when doubt returned, when fear knocked loudly. But Adam no longer feared those moments. He knew that thoughts are visitors, not rulers. He learned to observe them without letting them decide his future. This self-control gave him freedom. He was no longer a prisoner of his emotions. He became their guide. One quiet night, Adam stood again by his window. The city lights were still there, but this time they felt closer, not because the world had moved, but because he had. He smiled, not because life was perfect, but because he trusted himself to handle whatever came next. That trust was built through positive thinking, practiced daily, patiently, honestly. This is the power of positive thinking. It does not promise an easy life. It promises a strong mind. It teaches you to speak to yourself with respect, to face challenges with courage, and to respond with wisdom instead of fear. When you change the way you think, you change the way you feel. When you change the way you feel, you change the way you live. Remember this: your thoughts are seeds. Plant them with care, water them with patience, protect them with self-control. Over time, they will grow into the life you once believed was impossible. And one day, you will realize that the greatest power you ever needed was already inside you, waiting for you to believe in it.